Moshi Moshi.
Hello,
I'm Zeb Ramsbotham,
and I'm Annie Ramsbotham.
and we're the Rambling Ramsbothams.
Our journey might be rambling, but we hope this podcast isn't. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about Japan's ice cream capital, group bike rides, and huge cream puffs,
Massive.
and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But those are probably the important parts.
Ice cream and cream puffs is why I'm in Japan.
Well,
Right now, though, I'm distracted by the fact that I smell like a gyoza. Because I, cooked gyoza for dinner for us. But you know when you cook something in a frying pan and then you just smell like it? Like bacon or something? So we're going to talk about all this sweet stuff, but I'm glad the listener can't smell me right now because I smell like a big gyoza frying pan.
smells savory. It is interesting that it's not really something I guess you think about, but you know when you're going through neighborhoods and stuff, you can
smell people's house, what they're cooking for dinner.
Yeah, and it definitely
I love that.
Obviously has a different smell than America.
Yeah, there's more
here,
fish cooking for dinner.
Fish, or sometimes you'll smell karage, or gyoza does have a bit of a distinct smell. Some of the Japanese fried foods, you don't really have the same smells. And of course, laundry detergents smell different. So sometimes you'll smell that someone's doing laundry, but it's oh.
Yeah, I'm not smelling any mac and cheese or, I don't know.
I've
just been thinking about mac and cheese and oven stuff lately.
Yeah, there's no pies being left out on windowsills.
Wow,
to
there's none of that in America either. That's pretty idyllic.
Did you ever? Mom, she would leave out.
Actually, yeah, your mom would be the kind of person that would make a pie.
It wasn't on the windowsill, but it was on the kitchen counter on the little pie rack thing.
Well, we didn't have pie this weekend, but we did have these huge cream puffs that we've been talking about. And we had them on a group bike ride, actually. So,
which Annie was very brave and she attended.
Yeah, I joined Zeb's team bike ride.
Yeah.
Let it be known.
And she did well. Everyone was very impressed.
They were impressed because I was too stubborn and I didn't drop off the back, but I was absolutely smashed.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I held on. But anyway, it was a group ride with your team that they're the local team, I guess, in this area.
Yeah,
but
shout out to Suji Training Gym in Tsubata.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, maybe people used to live here and moved away, but there are a few team members that are in the Kansai region and around Osaka and Kobe, and they were in town. And so there was a group ride, I guess, to kind of celebrate that everybody could ride together.
Yeah, I guess because it was a 3-day weekend. So on
that's true too.
Saturday, it was Ocean Day or Sea Day or Umi Day. And that meant that we had Monday off for the national holiday. So we had a 3-day weekend. So I guess it was a convenient time for people to come up. I also didn't realize, I never really look at national weather. I just kind of look at our little pocket here in Ishikawa. But someone on the group ride was telling us that in Osaka, it's been 38 degrees Celsius, which is really hot.
It's really hot.
So
he said it was 40 in his car on the way up.
Yeah, so I guess maybe too is convenient because I didn't realize that Ishikawa.
It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ugh.
A little bit more than 100.
Ishikawa, I guess, is relatively cool compared to the Kansai region,
especially for biking.
I know. I didn't realize that we were lucky, and I was thinking about it that this year it's still hot and humid, but relatively. It is less hot, I think, so far this summer than last year. Because last year, I remember we were going into summer break, and it was already, miserable. And this year's, more tolerable, I think.
Do you think we've been getting stronger?
No, I think it's not as
tolerance.
hot. Because I think last year we had, multiple days well over 35 degrees Celsius. And this year, the highest I've seen was, 33 or something.
Because we got these curtains. They're insulating our house.
I don't think that's helping. I think it is helping. Sometimes when you stand by the curtains in the morning, you can feel the heat, kind of being held back.
Well, so the weather was nice for this ride. I mean, we did start in the morning before the sun was super out, but we went to Himi.
And it didn't rain, which is good.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Because now it's kind of the rainy season. So every single day, it's 50% chance of rain. But yeah, we went over to Himi. Yeah,
which is city that's on it's near where I went for my Amaharashi Coast bikepacking little solo weekend venture.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Girl
Himi, yeah, solo, which I still don't think that's like terribly unsafe, but I made a YouTube video about it and some people were like, you shouldn't go camping alone as a female, which like,
Well, I think a lot
I
of
think
people
in general, you should be careful camping, doing anything alone in general, but
yeah, I think a lot of people have antiquated thoughts about gender norms and gender roles, and especially in Japan, I think there's a lot of that still kind of like hanging around.
But anyway, that's not what this is about. We went to Himi this time.
Yeah, because this time you were with a bunch of guys, so you were safe. It was a group ride.
With some men.
Yeah.
But the first place that we stopped was for lunch actually in Himi. And we should have gotten fish because it was at one of those roadside stations and
It was actually a cycle station.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Because Himi
there's
has...
the Toyama coast route.
There's the Toyama Bay cycling route, which I guess is, if you heard us talk about my 500 kilometer ride, we're not very friendly to the Pacific Coast route.
Yeah, but
the Toyama Bay one's a little bit nicer, but also it's a way less populated area.
Well, the routes, the national bike routes are completely unrelated, and then they've just been designated as like national bike routes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the same planner for the Pacific Coast one was like, oh, I'm going to go make one in Toyama.
No.
So,
but the Toyama one is way nicer.
Yeah. But we got udon. Well, we didn't. I guess it was udon. It was like a dipping cold udon. So you could dip it in tsuyu because it was so hot and I had been trying really hard to keep up with these guys. And I was like, I don't want to eat this like massive lunch with fish and then feel gross on the ride back when they're going to like attack on the climbs and I'm going to have to like try not to get majorly dropped. So we played it a little safe and just had some boring noodles. But Himi is really well known for their seafood if you visit. Because
like all of Japan.
Toyama. No, not like all of Japan. I wouldn't say that in Nagano or Gunma. But we're on the Sea of Japan. So after lunch, though, was the highlight. We had been promised big cream puffs.
Yeah, shoe creams.
Yeah. I guess in Japanese, it's a borrowed word from, I think that's French, but they call it shoe cream.
Like shoe cream.
Yeah, well, if you pronounce it in the katakana spelling, yeah. But, yeah, I guess that's French. And then same thing as puff pastry with cream inside. And I like cream puffs. I mean, who doesn't? But I was like, well, why are we stopping here for cream puffs? I hadn't heard anything about the size of the cream puffs or, like, any reason. I just heard, like, we're going to go on a group ride and there will be cream puffs. And I was like, great.
Yeah, but then at lunch, they started talking about it.
Oh, really?
Like, I saw some people, like, joking about, they were, like, miming. Like, if you hold it, I could tell that they were talking about, like, if you hold it next to your face, it's as big as your head. And so I could tell they were, like, talking about it.
I missed all of that. So when we pulled up to the cream puff place, I was like, great, can't wait to eat, like, a tasty treat. And we walk in, and it's called the Dekai cream puff, which if you listen to our episode from Tokyo, and we went to the Asakusa rickshaw ride, the guide taught me the word Dekai, which meant huge. And so these were huge cream puffs the size of your head. And I was surprised.
It's really nice, though, because, like, I guess shoe cream or, like, shoe pastry is really light and airy.
Like puff pastry?
Yeah, so even though it's, like, huge, it wasn't really... We also split one, so we didn't each eat one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, like, that filling because the pastry is, like, very like, light. And then the inside was just cream, like whipped cream. And there was some kind of pudding-ish material.
Like custard and cream, and there was a singular strawberry.
Yeah, but it wasn't like you were eating like a giant brownie.
Yeah, it wasn't
or something.
super dense. That's true.
But yeah, it was really good.
Feeling it on the way back, and when you guys attacked on the hill, I was like, oh, I can't go as hard. I got this big cream puff inside.
I also saw that. So I Googled it because I was trying to make sure that, like, because I was titling that as my ride on Strava.
Oh.
But I wanted to make sure that I was using like the correct katakana for shoe cream.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So I Googled it, and apparently it's like a thing in Japan. There are like multiple places that have the Dekai shoe cream.
Oh, really? Just like a massive, like, cream puff?
Yeah, so at some point in like pop culture or somehow nationally, it must have been moderately popular to have like a giant shoe cream, because I also noticed there was like an old poster that looked like some kind of TV personality that was eating it in that restaurant. And one of the guys standing there that like was pointing at it, and they started joking about it. And then the guy was like, "Oh, like Natsukashi." Like he was saying like, "Oh, it's so like nostalgic to see that."
Yeah.
So at some point there must have been like a TV show
A trend.
or like like a trend.
I hadn't thought about that. Well, I also had never seen anybody talk about these massive cream puffs.
I hadn't either.
So.
It was like new to me, but it was really good.
Yeah. What about the rest of the actual ride? Did you enjoy the group ride itself?
Yeah, I thought it was nice. It always kind of goes like how I expect, that everyone says that they're going to ride easy, and then people don't really ride easy.
Yeah. It was a good workout, though, I think, because everybody gets excited, and then they're kind of like, I'm going to make it to the top first. So
I guess. But
I
we
was
also,
just hanging on for dear life at the end.
Yeah, we did okay in the middle, because like right towards the beginning of the ride, someone got a flat tire.
Oh.
And then it took them forever to fix. But I had the route loaded. So I told someone, I was like, oh, well, we're just going to keep riding at like, a gentle pace. Because that way we could like
Just
still do a lot of
riding.
riding.
The climb
Yeah.
casually.
And then not worry about having to like race each other.
Yeah.
But it was
It
good.
was a
And it was
fun
fun
ride.
to like ride with those guys. Because I like a lot of those guys that are my teammates. And of course, outside of bike riding, I don't really see them too much. Because they do like drinking things and going out to eat. But because I'm not drinking alcohol, it's a little kind of like, that's like the
It's
main
not
reason
as
they
enticing
go.
to go. Yeah. That makes sense. I was happy that they let me tag along.
Yeah.
And then today, when you went on a ride, unrelated to the group ride, but you saw these little dog statues.
Local celebrities.
Yeah. So in Tsubata, which is where the gym is for this team, there's a downtown street, and for whatever reason, they have these dog statues, but not like nice statues, just like garden gnome quality almost, like the kind of little statue you would just like put in your yard by your mailbox or something.
Yeah, like a grandma might have or something.
They're cute, but for whatever reason, there's like 15 of these little dog statues just on the sidewalk in this one spot, and somebody dresses them up occasionally.
I guess it's the owner of the shop there, maybe. I don't know.
I love it though. It's so random and cute because they don't dress them up for every holiday, but they'll just pick random things. Like when it's back to school, they put all the dogs in these like tiny school uniforms so that all the dogs are going back to school too, with the little yellow hats and stuff. And so this time, for the first time, you rode by tonight, and they were all dressed as watermelon.
Yeah. Which, again, we don't really know why.
I mean, it's summer, and people eat watermelon in the summer, but it wasn't like watermelon day, but it's super cute. I'll put a picture on our podcast Instagram, I guess.
This is unrelated to watermelon, so another tangent. But what do you think about the flavor of curry?
It's cucumber?
Mm-hmm.
I used to really like the smell. Like, I think when I was in middle school, I had, like, cucumber deodorant or something. But...
Dang. All right.
I like cucumber, just regular cucumbers.
Yeah.
But I don't really like the fake cucumber taste.
One of my favorite snacks used to be cucumber with salt, and maybe also cucumber with, like, ranch, of course. Like, anything that dipped in ranch.
Cream cheese and dill on cucumbers.
Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is because talking about, like, summer things.
Oh, yeah.
I think about cucumbers in the summer. But today in one of my classes, a bunch of the kids were talking about the flavor of cucumber. Because there was this one kid that kept saying...
in what context?
Well, I think one kid was saying that like cucumbers don't have flavor. And then other kids were like arguing. They were like, yeah, they like cucumbers have a flavor. And so then he was like, well, what is it? Like, what would you say it tastes like? And so then they were trying to think of things to try and describe the taste of cucumber.
Yeah, it's like a faint vegetable flavor. Also, I agree that, like, I think the very middle part doesn't have a flavor very much. It's, like, more texture than flavor, but the outside skin definitely has a flavor.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, it has a very, like, almost, like, refreshing, light flavor.
That's a good question, though, because maybe it doesn't have a flavor and it's just texture.
Yeah, like, maybe your head is...
Adding the flavor.
Yeah, but it is one of those things where... that, you know, your senses are connected, so like smell and taste.
Mm-hmm.
So cucumber definitely has a bit of a smell.
Yeah.
But what if you're just smelling cucumber and then eating it, and then your brain's like inventing a bit of like a taste based on the smell?
I don't know, but Japan really likes cucumbers in the summer. Because
They
you'll
do.
just skewer a cucumber and then pickle it, and then
But not
people will just
pickle
sell that.
like America pickle.
Not dill pickle, but it's
I don't even really know what, because it's also not a sweet pickle.
it's like dashi is in with the vinegar. Like
yeah, it's like a
little bit.
savory.
Yeah, I don't know. I should look up what the pickle brine is, because it's less briny and more mild.
I guess. Yeah, it's definitely mild. I miss like an aggressive dill pickle. You know?
An aggressive dill pickle.
Yeah, I like vinegar, like salt and vinegar.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
back to the whole podcast is tangents, really, so I think it's fine. But my next thing that I was going to talk about is actually related to food, but on the opposite side of the taste
treat.
spectrum. Yeah, I ate a ton of ice cream. Well, I just in general love ice cream.
You're not going to believe how much ice cream I ate. I ate a ton of ice cream.
The listener would probably believe it. But I have been working on this idea for a video for over a year since last summer, and I just never like finished it last summer.
Yeah, you keep talking about it.
I know, but I actually finished it this time. So Kanazawa, where, you know, the capital of this prefecture and 20 minutes away from where we live, is apparently the capital, the ice cream capital of Japan.
Yeah, which, you know, it's one of those things that I've had people tell me this, that Ishikawans and people from Kanazawa. Ishikawans.
The Hokuriku region.
Or like, no, well, specifically like people from Ishikawa and Kanazawa are like known for eating ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about this back in the winter, because in one episode we were talking about kotatsu tables.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a coworker tell me that it's like very popular here, that the families gather around their kotatsu and then eat ice cream.
They gather around just to eat ice cream.
Yeah, because then you're like warm because you're sitting under the kotatsu, but then you're like eating ice cream
That
because
does sound really
it's
nice.
like hot and cold.
Yeah,
but apparently that's
thought,
like a very Ishikawa / Kanazawa thing.
I just thought, yeah, of course they like ice cream here. Everyone likes ice cream.
Yeah.
But apparently there's actually data to support the fact that Kanazawa eats more ice cream on average. So I found this article on the Asahi from 2019, and to quote them, it says that Kanazawa topped the list of 52 prefectural capitals and major cities for annual spending on ice cream and sorbet products 5 times over 10 years from 2009 to 2018. And this was according to the Internal Affairs Ministry's Family Income and Expenditure Survey. And apparently there is a Japan Ice Cream Association, and they do a survey annually. And people self-report this data, so, I mean, I don't know how scientific it is.
People here in Ishikawa are probably just like, yeah, we eat ice cream.
But this article was in, I guess it came out in 2019 before the results came out. But since the article, Kanazawa, again, in addition to those 10 years, they were at the top of the list in 2019, 2020, and 2022. And so they just keep being the number one spender of ice cream out of other cities of this size.
It's excessive.
So, I mean, I get it. And the Japan Ice Cream Association, their mission is to provide safe and secure products to customers and contribute to a rich dietary life by improving the hygiene and quality of ice cream and frozen desserts.
That's a noble mission.
I know, that's a mission I could get behind.
Where can I donate? I should give them more money. They also had a funny reasoning. I can't remember what you said. They had like a reason why they think Ishikawa or Kanazawa was like number one. But it seemed like a bunch of stuff that was like, it was one of the ones was like, because it's humid. It was like,
so
well, it's humid everywhere in Japan.
In this article in 2019, they were trying to find out why Kanazawa, at this point, they had ranked at the top so many times over the past 10 years. And so I guess some group was trying to figure out why, if there was a reason. And yeah, they listed 5 reasons. The first was climate, which I get, but also it's not like Kanazawa is that much hotter or more humid than other places.
Yeah, like Kansai, like we just talked about, is way hotter right now.
Yeah.
Or like Okinawa.
I don't know. They did say that not only being hot, that it rains on half the days of the year in Ishikawa, and so people in the prefecture tend to stay at home for longer periods of time and spend more on luxury grocery items.
Are we all just depressed? So we need
for taste rather than nourishment. And then kind of going along with that, but the second reason was household expenses, and so people in Kanazawa apparently spend like more money on things you don't need, like confections, coffee, cocoa, and like whatever they're calling luxury grocery items. And so apparently Kanazawa people have cash to spare and they spend it on ice cream, which I don't know how they find that out, but I guess the cost of living is probably lower here than it is in like Tokyo and Osaka and other prefecture capitals. So maybe.
But that's interesting because I would also assume the like wages are also lower here.
Yeah.
Comparatively. But
I don't know. Apparently also this prefecture is fourth in terms of average floor space in homes. So apparently people are spending more and they have more space. And the article said that a lot of, apparently 20%, which doesn't seem like a lot of people, but 20% of the respondents have at least 2 refrigerators in their house. So they were like, they've got all this space. That
does seem like a lot of people.
I guess so, 20%.
I mean, how many people in America did you know that had...
Well,
I mean, we had big refrigerators.
In America, I feel like lots of people have 2 refrigerators.
Really?
At least we did. We lived rurally, and everybody I knew had 2 refrigerators because you would just go to the grocery store. I
guess that's true. Your family did, but I assumed it's because your family was like well off. I didn't really know anyone that had...
Really? I had a bunch of friends. You didn't have any friends that had like the garage fridge and it's like stocked with drinks?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Not like... it's not like the outside fridge has the luxury stuff. It was like, oh, you can get a soda from the garage fridge. I don't know. Maybe that was just me and my friends.
Yeah, I don't think I had any friends that had...
Really? Not like an outdoor freezer or something?
No.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. So I just thought that... of course, you and I don't have a second. We have a small refrigerator here. But, I mean, that's all we need for 2 people, and we can go to the grocery store often. But, apparently, Kanazawa people live in an environment where they stock up on ice cream and eat them whenever they want to. So
actually,
report.
It's a good time to mention. I forgot.
What?
If you, as the listener, if you're a 2-fridge household, you can go on Spotify and you can comment and let us know. Because it used to be called like Q&A. Mm-hmm. And so if people use the Q&A,
like a one-way.
Yeah, if you used the Q&A on Spotify, we would, and sometimes it's annoying because sometimes they don't actually give us the notification. Like I'll log into the Spotify dashboard and it'll be like, you've missed these messages.
You had a message.
I'm like, well, you didn't tell me. But they changed it to a true comment section. So it used to be I could just publish what folks had said. But now it's like a 2-way street. Like if you comment on the episode, we can reply to it. So we can actually interact with you now.
Wow.
It's not just a Q&A anymore.
Yeah.
So if you're a 2-fridge household, let us know.
I guess so.
We can do our own poll here.
Wow. But yeah, all these factors, I guess were interesting because it apparently adds up to some of the reason as to why so much ice cream is eaten in Kanazawa. I don't know that it really answers the question, but regardless, it gave me an excuse to think, oh, well, if there's so much ice cream here, I'm going to try a bunch of it. Yeah. And I like biking, so I'm going to make a bike route that goes to all these different places that have delicious ice cream and ride it in one day.
And then you made a video.
I did. I didn't eat all of the ice cream stops on my ride. I did ride the route and go buy all 12 ice cream spots, but...
Yeah, but this has been like over the course of like a couple of years.
Yeah.
You've been collecting ice cream spots.
So I have eaten at all 12 of those places and more.
I've been at some of them. I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to some of them.
Yeah, someone commented on the video, wow, you really like ice cream.
Well, you start the video by saying like, I love ice cream. So, I mean, no surprise there.
I was going to talk about some highlights of the ice cream options that Kanazawa has to offer.
Yeah, let's hear some favorites.
Okay, it's honestly really hard to pick favorites. I mean, I've already narrowed it down to 12, but one that I think has like, what do you call when it's like curiosity appeal and also it's delicious. You know when you hear something and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then you taste it and you're like, yeah, it just sounded interesting. It wasn't actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that, but number one that I was going to mention is soy sauce ice cream. Because when I heard that, I immediately am interested, you know? I've never had soy sauce ice cream in America. Have you?
No, but I understand the appeal because I really like salted caramel ice cream. So I like the sweet and salty like mix.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I first heard it, all I thought about was savory things, like putting soy sauce on savory. So I was like, well, how are they going to make something taste good when it's soy sauce flavored? And that's just like potent and salty. But you're right.
Yeah, but doesn't that sound good? Because also we put soy sauce on like everything.
Yeah. Well, I tried the ice cream and I am a believer now. And it is kind of like salted caramel, but it's got a richer taste. So that's soy sauce soft serve. There was also, on the opposite end, tofu ice cream is something that we had. And that I would put in the category of interesting and did not live up to the hype. I mean, I don't want to bash any of these ice cream places because it was still tasty. But it was it was so mild that I was like, I guess it's tofu, but it just tastes like vanilla soy milk.
Yeah, and sometimes too, ice cream gets a little loose. Like sometimes people will call something ice cream and then you'll get it and you're like, well, this isn't really ice cream.
Yeah, it wasn't super creamy.
Yeah, that tofu ice cream was kind of like that. It was more like ice that was tofu
Like a
inspired.
mild soy milk flavored ice.
Yeah, but there was nothing like really creamy about it.
Yeah. But there was some good ice that I had. And I included this in my video, even though I know it's not actually ice cream. But I did learn that ice cream was brought to Japan at the end of the Meiji Restoration, which I guess makes sense. I had never really thought about, like, when did ice cream become popular in Japan, in a country, like on an island that doesn't really have dairy in their traditional
Yeah, because like
diet.
when did cows
I don't know. Maybe in the Meiji Restoration.
Well, I guess it would have had like... Because there's no refrigeration. It's not like they sailed some ice cream to Japan on a boat.
No refrigeration, but also like...
They had to make it here.
It snows here.
Well, yeah, but some guy had to be over
anywhere.
here. And he was like, I'm going to show you guys how to make something. And they were like, what? And then he like made ice cream. And I bet they were like, oh my God.
Well, this wasn't until the 1800s. And Tokugawa Ieyasu was one of the first people in Japan to try ice cream. According to this article that I was reading, I don't know if that's true, but I believe it. I mean, they were pretty strict in that period. I mean, he kept wheels out of Japan, so... Yeah,
there weren't wheels here.
He could probably be like, yeah, we're not having ice cream either. But they liked ice cream, so they brought it over. But before ice cream, so backing up to the Heian period, which started in, like, the late 700s, I think, what they were eating instead of ice cream was kakigori, which is shaved ice. And I thought this would be like a snow cone. And so I was like, oh, that's fine. I mean, snow cones are fun, but they're not good. But kakigori is completely different. It's like if cotton candy was frozen. It's so fluffy. And you could just like scoop it like, I don't know. It's like pristine snow. But did you make snow cream growing up?
I would eat a lot of snow cream.
We did too, except my mom, she was like trying to support us and be like, yeah, you can make snow cream, but she would also be like, it's like you're kind of just eating polluted water. But
yeah, you just get it off the top and you're good. You don't need the first layer.
This is like what you wish snow cream was, because it's actually fluffy and it actually tastes good. I
thought snow cream tasted good.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess in my head I was always like, oh, it's going to be so fluffy and like incredible. And then I would actually go out and like scoop the snow, and then you'd mix up the cream and the sugar and stuff. And probably by the time I was done like making it, it was just kind of a melty, like dirty water bowl.
Sounds like maybe someone wasn't very good at making snow cream.
I don't think I was. But kakigori is my new favorite way to eat ice, I guess. It's nothing new. It was just new to me because I grew up eating snow cream and snow cones. This is like elevated.
Yeah, I should have gotten my friend Anna to try a bunch of ice cream when she was here.
She's like an ice cream connoisseur.
Well, because I think throughout high school she worked at an ice cream shop, and so she was pretty high level ice cream eater. And I still remember one time we were in Iceland, and I think it was in the city of Reykjavik, on like the north part of Iceland. They had like Iceland's best ice cream. And I remember we went there and ordered it, and she was not impressed.
Oh no.
And I remember she was like, if this is the best that Iceland has to offer, like,
what was her problem with the...
I think that it was all about the graininess. The mouthfeel was not good. There was something about you could feel the ice crystals or something. So she was saying that there's something wrong about like the temperature or something.
I believe her.
She got really technical, and I was like, yeah, I mean, for me, I was just like an oaf. I was like, it's ice cream.
It's ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should come rate some places in Kanazawa.
But yeah, I still feel like maybe a bit of a simpleton. And some of my favorite ice cream is still the Family Mart cone.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying purposefully to taste flavors that I had never had before.
No, I know. And it's
So-
like more of an experience to go to a shop that has ice cream instead of just going to the convenience store and buying like a cone out
Yeah.
of the freezer.
I also tried soba ice cream, which is made out of buckwheat. So this was kind of like
I think it's probably similar to the hojicha, maybe,
Yeah.
in flavor.
a little bit roasted kind of taste. This one was a float, a soba float, which was also unique. Because I had ice cream and coffee in the same cup. It was a coffee float. So I liked that
Incredible.
one a lot. Yeah. Overall, though, I mean, you don't have to be in the ice cream capital or whatever to do something like that. I think maybe I should just make a ice cream bike tour anywhere we go.
Also, can you imagine, like, you could do just an ice cream tasting just in a, like, Food Lion.
Yeah.
You ever think about how overwhelming sometimes that ice cream aisle was?
In America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would always get the same thing. But the aisle was, like, so big. There were so
Yeah.
many things in there.
I
I never
know.
really gave it a proper look.
Really?
I mean,
I looked in the ice cream aisle all the time. I wouldn't get the same thing all the time.
I feel like I always got the same thing. I was pretty boring.
What was it?
I really like the moose tracks. I got that one pretty often. But they
Moose
used
Tracks?
to have,
What's the turtle tracks with the caramel?
yeah.
Turtle tracks
one's good
and
too.
double moose tracks. That reminds me of my dad because he would always get the double moose tracks. I guess the double is that it's chocolate ice cream with all the stuff instead of vanilla ice
Ooh,
cream.
that's almost a little too rich.
It was
for me.
really, really rich.
I
it makes
used
me
to
think of
get,
him.
or we used to buy it a lot. Food Lion specifically, the grocery store had Food Lion brand birthday cake ice cream, and it was so good.
I do like birthday cake ice cream.
We used to get that all the time.
Also, peanut butter in ice cream. I don't see peanut butter in general in a lot of places in Japan.
But they have sesame.
Yeah, black
is
sesame
close.
tastes kind of like peanut butter. And I do like it it's like a different flavor, of course, because it's a different thing. But I really like black sesame flavor. I will say that one overrated thing in Kanazawa is the gold leaf ice cream.
Yeah.
I think it's worth getting once, I guess, like for the photo. I don't know. It's just, when we got it, I knew it was like a tourist thing, and I still
Yeah.
got it. And it was very fun and pretty, and we took the pictures, but it almost tasted like worse than I thought, because I thought it was going to
does.
have no flavor, but it actually does have a slight metallic flavor.
Yeah.
So it tastes like when you bite your tongue, and it's a little bit, I don't know, it tastes kind of like, not like blood, that makes it seem gross, but it tastes a little metallic, kind of like if you bite your tongue.
Yeah, and it's almost like the ice cream or the gold leaf gets in the way of the ice cream.
And the listener might not know what we're talking about, but in Kanazawa, because it's not only is it the ice cream capital, it's
Yeah.
also
The
the
gold
place,
leaf capital.
Yeah, they make the most gold leaf out of Japan, so they've capitalized on this, and they sell this cone. Actually, a couple places sell things
Yeah, I think you
covered
can-
in gold leaf.
Yeah, you can buy it near Kenroku-in. There's a street near Kenroku-in. You can get gold leaf ice cream. And then also in Higashichaya, one of the tea districts, you can get gold leaf ice cream.
I'm sure there's several places.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
Those are two that I know are like super popular that you can do it. And it's definitely, I think, more of a like gimmick.
I
You
mean,
like
it's
do
a
it for the
fun
experience.
photo, and like it's cool. So we did get it, but yeah, I was surprised that not only did it, I thought it wouldn't have a taste, but it has like a bad taste.
We mostly got it because they were doing like a Pokemon collaboration. And if you got that ice cream, you also got a
Coaster.
Pikachu gold leaf coaster. So that was pretty neat.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of ice cream. And this would make a lot more sense if the listeners listened to the one episode where we were talking about our health checks. And we both had to say that, yeah, we eat sweets often.
Every day, in fact.
Basically every day. So
I don't eat that much ice cream every day, but in the summer I do eat like a popsicle every day.
yeah. Well, I have something tangentially related to the first man who ever ate ice cream in Japan.
Oh. Tokugawa Ieyasu?
Yeah. Recently, they released a Gundam that had his armor.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So
it's like a samurai Gundam?
It's like the same, one of the same Gundams is like the RX-78, like the same Gundam model. But
what would you describe Gundams as? Are they like giant robots?
Yeah, a giant robot. So it's a giant robot that someone pilots. It's like a very...
And the anime came first, right? Or is there only the TV show? There's no like book or anything?
No, they have like manga and stuff, but it's like kind of like a universe. It's almost like, I mean, loosely, it'd be like Star Wars or like Marvel. Like there's a Gundam universe, and then there are multiple different anime, and each one tells a different story within the Gundam universe. It was like one of the first like really, really big like anime hits like internationally, and it's still super popular.
And you
here
really
in
liked
Japan.
it growing up.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan. I mean, what kind of... I guess it's like, who doesn't really like giant robots? Like they're just pretty cool. I don't know. But also it has like an interesting like political story. It often has, and this is maybe typical to a lot of anime and other like really good stories in general. They're like conflicting characters. Like you can kind of understand
They're
where the
not
villain...
all good or all bad.
Yeah, like you kind of understand where the villain's coming from, but you also understand why he's not a good person.
So I guess at some point the show expanded into the real world by starting to sell these models of the robots.
It's kind of like a lot of things. It's shortened to Gunpla, and it's like Gundam Plastic, I think, is the hyphenation. And they're basically just like really nice model kits. And there's like a whole world of them. So of course they're different. The different giant robots from the show, you can get model kits for each one, but then they also release special editions. So one of the most recent collaborations was actually with Nikko, and to celebrate Nikko's 25th anniversary as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
This is a site in Tochigi Prefecture.
Yeah, it's the Temple and Shrine Complex. Apparently one of the priests at a shrine is like really into Gundam. And so he contacted Bandai, and apparently they have a factory in that prefecture. So he contacted them and like pitched them this idea. He was like, what if you make a limited edition Gundam, but you make its armor themed after Tokugawa Ieyasu's armor that they have there in like a museum? And apparently Bandai was like, yeah, we'll do it. So they made 2,000 model kits.
That's like none. I can't
know.
believe
Apparently they
made
like
2,000.
immediately sold out. So now they're going to do a re-release, and you can buy it online. But it's pretty neat. So it's just like a themed Gundam to look like.
That's so funny. You can go to like a World Heritage Site shrine.
I know.
That's like still an operating religious site, and then you can also buy like a Gundam model.
Yeah, you go into the gift shop and like pick up your Gundam on the way out.
But you probably can't because they're going to be sold out.
Yeah, he did say it was interesting because they said that he feels like more people look at the armor now than they used to. Like people are actually stopping by to see it because of this collaboration with Gundam.
When did they do this collaboration?
I think really recently.
Wow.
But,
this article came out today.
Yeah, the article came out recently. Unfortunately, like most things, I guess I don't really know where people hear about these things before they happen, but I'll always read these news articles. I'm like, oh, this sounds so cool. That would be so fun to do. And then they're like, and this was last week and it's already sold out.
Yeah.
I'm like, where was the article warning us that this was coming?
You got to be in the know. You got to be like in the inner circle of Gundam fanatics.
Well, it's such a big deal that there's like a world competition because what some people do is they'll buy all these unique like Gundam kits.
Oh,
and then
just
they'll
put them together in different ways.
Yeah, they'll put them together in different ways and like make their own creations. And then people have also started building like sets for them. And so people basically make these like really nice dioramas and then enter them into these like contests. And they do all kinds of like really neat stuff. Like you can get limited edition ones that are only like recycled plastic, because you know in model kits they come in the plastic sheet.
Oh, you gotta pop out the parts off.
Yeah, you can send the plastic sheets back and they'll melt them down. And so they have limited edition kits that come out that are like made from those melted
That's
parts.
cool. I bet they're all colorful and neat looking too.
Yeah, so and some people like paint their own, and they even have really fancy ones. They come in different like grades of difficulty. So like the easier ones for beginners to the like master grade or whatever it's called. And then they have like metal ones where the kit is metallic.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think
that's
like
heavy.
I'm really fascinated by this, but it's one of those things that like I really like the idea of, but I usually never actually set the time aside to like.
Yeah, I wonder how long it takes to actually put one
model
together. It's a cool, very niche hobby.
I don't even know if it's like niche, because I think a lot of people do it. Because you can see some really cool stuff on Instagram. Sometimes like I'll happen to look at one, and of course, next thing I know, my explore page is like filled with like people with Gundam models.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It's a pretty neat crossover. And to think that man was the first man eating ice cream in Japan, and little did he know, a couple hundred years later, there's going to be a giant robot with his armor. If you showed that to him,
at his shrine.
Yeah, if you could go like bring him to the modern world and be like, all right, so here are the ice creams we have now, and also here's this little plastic thing that looks like you. He'd be like, what?
Yeah. It's like that, I forget who talks about this, but like just bringing anybody from the past to like a modern grocery store. Just grocery stores in
like
general.
Like a medieval peasant.
Are just mind-blowing, yeah.
They'd freak out. Do you have a word of the week?
Yeah. My word is hagaki. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a postcard.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's also a printer setting.
For postcards?
So I was first going to bring it up because I found a postcard in the street this week, and it was just, somebody had actually like tucked it into a telephone pole, like between a pole and a sign. And it was like kind of blowing in the wind a bit. So I like grabbed it. 'Cause at first I thought, oh, somebody like drew a piece of art and then like stuck it here for someone to find, but they didn't. It was just a postcard. But the front of the postcard actually was hand drawn, and it was a really cute rabbit, and they had done watercolor and colored pencil. And so it was kind of a mystery to me, but I think somebody had just dropped it. So I actually put it in the post box so that it could actually make it to whoever it was supposed to go to. But then I was like thinking, I don't actually know how you say postcard, and it's hagaki. And also, as a shameless plug, I send like 75 postcards out every month to people who are in a postcard club that I have. And if you want to join, I paint the postcards and print them. And you can join at thebluebike.art, which is my art website. And then the final note I have about postcards is that hagaki, just written in like romanized letters, is a printer setting that you'll find in a lot of, I think, like Canon or Epson printers. And somebody on this forum was talking about how like I finally figured out what the hagaki like setting is, and they like Googled it and found out that it means postcard. And because they were trying to print on postcards, and they were printing on like with a 4x6 preset, but of course postcards are not, they're not usually 4x6. They're like 100 by 148 millimeters because they're not using inches. So yeah, they were like, I finally like I can print on postcards because you have to use the hagaki setting. Incredible. It's a lot of different things about postcards. What's your word?
Mine is oriru.
Oriru.
Do you remember learning this one?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I learned it during the group bike ride this past weekend. It means to descend.
Yeah, it's one of the words, and apparently it changes depending on context. And I
Doesn't
forget
it also mean like to get off?
I don't know. I can't remember the other word. There are two words that the guy taught us. And Oriru is like specifically for like yama, like if you're coming off the mountain.
Oh, like to descend a mountain. It does also mean to dismount.
Well,
yeah.
There it is.
Wow. Well, we've come to the end of another episode. So if you're still here, thanks for listening.
Yeah. And we will talk to you guys next week where we'll probably talk about my last week as a teacher.
Pretty wild.
I know. It's crazy. Well, anyway. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye.